Good day, everybody. Welcome to CycloneFanatic.com's tradition. It's Sitzmann's Picks. We do it every summer here at the website. Come see Tim at Mr. B Clothing at 1995 Northwest 86th Street in Clive, where Tim's got some hot picks for you.
It is a beautiful day in Clive, Iowa. Warm summer day.
It finally feels like summer, though.
It feels like summer. And I said at the beginning of spring, when I was sitting there freezing to death in April and May, that I was not going to complain about being hot, and I am not. It's beautiful.
Well, I even had a bonfire on Friday night. My folks were already starting a fire. It was cold.
Oh, it gets cool in the evening.
We got cold. It was bizarre.
We complain about weather a lot in Iowa because we have so many different kinds of weather.
Yeah, we're like those old men sitting around complaining about the weather. Look at us today.
And anyway, it is a beautiful day in Clive, Iowa, and I'm glad to be with Chris Williams, and we're excited about picking the Clones going through this season, and hopefully we can get them to a bowl game.
All right. Now, Tim's picks have been lock solid the last 2 years here throughout the summer. Now, you picked Iowa State to beat Northern Iowa.
Yes,
do a little recap for you. You picked Iowa State to beat the Iowa Hawkeyes in the second game. You picked them to lose to Tulsa, I believe. And I picked them to beat Tulsa.
Right.
We both picked losses against the Texas Longhorns. Up next is an intriguing game. I think you can call it a swing game.
It is a swing
on
game.
Iowa State's schedule. It is at Texas Tech. The Red Raiders, of course, have a new football coach. Out is Tommy Tuberville. He's swimming around in that American Conference or whatever it's called in Cincinnati. And in is Cliff Kingsbury.
I don't know a thing about Chris.
He's the old Cliff, Kliff. He's the old quarterback from Texas Tech. He's slung it all over the field for head coach Mike Leach.
I do remember Cliff.
Offensive coordinator at Texas A&M last year, where that one guy named Johnny Manziel was the quarterback. So he kind of tutored Johnny to that Heisman Trophy victory.
Quite a year.
Yeah, and he's a young guy. About my age, really, just a little bit older than me, I believe, but it's his first head coaching job. I think that there's a comparison you can make here, and I've written about it numerous times. I think it's a little bit of a Paul Rhodes type situation in the sense that I think Lubbock and Ames are very comparable.
Yeah, they are.
In the sense that there's not a lot of guys who want to coach there. Not saying they're bad jobs, but there's not guys lining up at the door saying, now that's a destination job.
I want to be in Lubbock, Texas.
Yeah, and there's just not that many guys. But for Paul Rhodes, he's an Iowa State guy. It's where he wants to be. And for Cliff Kingsbury, this is a dream job for him. So I think eventually he turns it around. Just not quite sure this is going to be the year. I think he needs a couple of years. So that's what makes this game so intriguing. So, Tim, last time Iowa State went down there, I think it was 41-7. I will call that the Jared Barnett game. Iowa State just went off.
Right.
Can Iowa State redeem itself after a bad loss, I thought, to Texas Tech last season?
Well, I think this is going to be one of those emotional games where Texas Tech probably puts it on their little star on their calendar that this is one they can get.
Must win.
They must get Iowa State. I mean, I think if they're going to have any kind of turnaround start, these kind of games are going to stick out on their schedules. We must win these games, and that would be one of them for Texas Tech. Not so fast. I really think that Iowa State goes down there, and we're going to see a little bit of a lopsided. This is the time I think Iowa State's going to start picking up the pace.
They're going to hit the throttle.
They're going to hit the throttle. I think it's a 14-point game. I think Iowa State comes away with a road victory, and not really an upset in this case, but just a nice win for the
bold picks.
Yes,
it's a bold pick right there. 14 points over Texas Tech on the road. I like it, Tim.
I think it's a bold pick, but I think it's the time Iowa State's got to find their mojo to get the season going. Because I had them 2-2.
You heard it here.
They got to start.
You heard it here. I think it's a big game, though. I mean, you're right. If you talk about getting to a bowl game, this is one of the more winnable games in the Big 12 Conference. Iowa State has proven they can go on the road. That doesn't bother this program led under Paul Rhodes. I'll say this: I think it's a tougher game than 14 points.
It is a tough game.
I do think that. I think that Texas Tech potentially could be about the same type of team that they were a year ago, but that's a very beatable team too. And this is why I like your pick, Tim. It's because Iowa State under Paul Rhodes generally is better in the first 6 games of the season than it is the last.
Right.
And of course, the non-conference skews that just a little bit. But last year, I mean, look, you got to go on the road to Iowa. You beat a Tulsa team. You beat some good teams in that non-conference.
And they got to go on the road to Tulsa this year. So I'm pretty stern on that 2-2 start, and now we're going to be 3-2 after this game.
All right,
I believe it. I think it's a game that we're going to see that teams start coming together. It's a young Iowa State team in many respects, and a new position starting to really start to make a team out of
Now,
it.
my previous take had been that Iowa State needs to go 3-0 in the non-conference to go to a bowl game
Right.
this year. But if they go 2-1 and they win at Lubbock, that erases that, and I think they can get back into bowl contention.
They're back in it again.
So you're going this, you're just going a little bit different route, but probably the same outcome is what I'm thinking.
And we talked about those first 4 games. A couple of them could go either way, as we know. And
there are a lot of coin tosses.
I hope we're sitting here talking at the time of this happening that we're 4-0 going into Lubbock.
Yeah.
But we just don't know. I think they're 2-2 going to Lubbock, and we come out 3-2, and we're heading into some fun times in the conference.
All right, he's Tim Sitzmann. I'm Chris Williams. What's going on this week at Mr. B's?
We're continuing our sale at Mr. B's in our July clearance, and it'll be going on. We'll cap it all off the first weekend in August with our famous sidewalk sale coming up in a few weeks. So either shop early to get the best selection, or wait for our giant tent out in the parking lot, which will come in the first weekend in August, and invite you to come in.
Yeah, I got to look at, there's some nice winter coats when I walked in.
Yeah,
it looks like they're on clearance, and this is a good time to buy those type of clothing.
A lot of sale tags, Chris, right now, and this is a good time for those of you who want to stretch your dollar a little bit more, fill up that closet with maybe one more item, but we'll clip it all along here through July, and then we'll climax it in August, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. On the sidewalk under the big top.
All right, he's Tim Sitzmann. We're going to be back next week, and we'll talk about Iowa State's road trip to Baylor. Can they knock off the Bears? We will discuss here at Mr. B Clothing at 1995 Northwest 86th Street in Clive. Come on in and say hello.